Welcome back to Arizona Real Estate Matters, brought to you by Empire West Title. Our next guests are Lynn Janson and John Cabezas with West USA Realty. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Go ahead, John. You first.
Open it.
Ladies always first,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I spent over 20 years in corporate America, and in 1998 decided that I wanted to leave corporate America and got into real estate and have been in it ever since.
Yeah. It's a good year to get in it, 1998, but too bad you couldn't have been in 2008. You would have missed a lot of that.
I would have missed a lot of the fun, and then a lot of the not so fun.
Not so fun, yes.
Well, if you get in the business in 1998, you in that time period leading up to the boom, you would have learned how to survive if you would have gotten into it in 2008.
Sure.
That's for sure.
Well, the mere fact that we're here means we survived.
Exactly. And Lynn?
Well, I got into real estate in 2012. John had talked me into it. I wanted to be a yoga instructor. And he said, no, try real estate. So here I
yoga
am.
for your brain. How's that? Yeah, right? Well, one of the things that really separates you guys from the competition and from all of the other agents out there is that you guys have written and co-authored on a few books, but the book that you guys both wrote together is called The Home Stretch. Tell our listeners a little bit about that book.
Well, we decided to write the book because we have so many clients that they just want to know, how does the process work? And we thought, well, why don't we just put that in writing, so when we have a client, we hand them the book, ask them to go through it step by step as we're going through the process.
Okay.
So if they can't reach us, they have a resource.
Yes, and so basically, if you're working with a new buyer, one of your steps is you give them one of your own books.
Correct.
That's
Well,
great.
and we also wanted, as you mentioned earlier in the show, is there are a lot of myths surrounding our industry.
Yeah.
There are people out
I
there.
think there's more myths than truths.
And truth. This is true. This is true most often. But we wanted to make sure that we provided something for folks that could read it and really from cover to cover learn how to deal with buying or selling real estate.
Yeah.
And I love this because there's a lot of times where, when I'm talking to buyers or sellers, they ask a lot of questions that maybe the agent should have maybe approached with them, or maybe said, okay, basically, okay, step one is this, 2, 3. And if they had kind of a step-by-step process of where you're going to be at a certain point, roughly, approximately, it helps take away some of that anxiety, because a lot of times, they're like, okay, well, we've done this. Well, what's next? And if they don't, the unknown, fear is elevated from the unknown.
Sure.
So if it helps, it helps their anxiety and helps that fear as far as, okay, now we're waiting for this. Okay, this is going to happen next. And it might not happen in those specific time frames, but they know that's the next step.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's missing, I believe, is many realtors really, because we do this every day. Mm-hmm. We know what we're doing, and it's kind of commonplace for us. But let's face it, it's not commonplace for someone buying a house.
True.
So what you really want to do is make them feel at ease and say, here's what's going to happen, here's the process, here's what to expect, here's what to look for, and it's stressful enough without and having someone not really tell you what the process is.
Absolutely
makes it even worse.
Whether it be a first-time home buyer or somebody who's bought or sold many homes. I mean, John, you got in this in 1998. Is this industry the same as it was in 98?
Oh, heavens no.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if the last time you purchased a house was in 1998, and I told this to somebody recently who actually she had come from Wisconsin, and we bought and sold a lot of homes. We came from Wisconsin, and I said, well, then you're going to have to relearn the real estate market, because one, it's different than than when you bought or purchased before, and two, you're in Arizona. This is not Wisconsin.
Real estate is an ever-changing landscape.
Absolutely. So you guys have, and we're going to kind of go through a few of these books, because some of this stuff, and here's my opinion of this. There's many excellent real estate agents out there. Don't get me wrong, and I've known the great and the bad of the whole spectrum as far as agents are concerned. But if you're able to, as an agent and agents, to put what your knowledge is into a book that can help somebody, that elevates you as far as
get
your
it written down.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Because you can hold their hand and you can do a great job, but if you can take that knowledge and put it into a book and help people through that just kudos to you guys, because that elevates you as far as your status us as agents are concerned, as far as I'm
because
concerned.
a lot of agents will fake what they don't know until they make it. But you know what? If you're writing a book on it, you know every asset of the transaction and everything that's going to go wrong. So
well, you said something earlier in the show about when when you were doing loans about how happy it made people feel.
Sure.
Well, we feel the very same way. This should be a time when it's all said and done. It should be a joyful
time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So the next book that you have on your list here, and I think this is kind of ironic, is that you wrote a book on how to sell your home without an agent. And here you are as an agent.
Yes. Yeah.
So help me understand this one.
Yes.
Well, Lynn and I felt very strongly that we like to make certain that we give back.
Okay.
Okay. And if someone is selling their house on their own, chances are there's a situation there that they more than likely need help with. Okay. It isn't always, and I know this may sound crazy to some people, but it isn't always about making money.
Sure.
It's about doing the right thing and helping the right people. And if you do the right thing, and if you help people move forward in their life, trust me when I tell you that it'll eventually come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you help others achieve their goals and their dreams, you'll achieve the same, and it will come back to you monetarily. I firmly.
Most agents that would write that book, How to Sell Your Home Without an Agent, it would just be call an agent. Every page would just be
here's my phone number.
Here's my number. 200 pages of call an agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The next book, which I like this because there's a lot of, and this is, again, getting rid of those myths and getting to the truth. So you wrote a book called Don't Get Ripped Off on Your First Home Purchase. Because, if it's your first home purchase, you've never done this before. Everything you're doing is all new to you.
Yeah.
And I can see where you may run across, if you're a first-time home buyer, an agent or a mortgage professional who may take advantage of you. And unfortunately, we saw that a lot in the Hispanic community here in Phoenix because, of the language barrier. So you had a lot of individuals who didn't speak English, so they got with somebody who did speak Spanish, and unfortunately, they got taken advantage of. And that happens in culture. I mean, I hate to say it. So this book, Don't Get Ripped Off on your first home purchase. Tell us about that one.
Well, that one is just a book to let someone who's buying their first-time buyer what to look out for, how a home should be priced, making sure they're not overpaying, making sure they pick the right lender, the right title company. Escrow really is kind of a mystery to most buyers, so it explains a little about that.
I go to work every day not knowing what the heck I'm doing.
Exactly, Phil. And when we wrote the home stretch, we have so many clients that are, why do we need escrow? What are they? Who are they?
Yeah.
What do they do? So it talks about that. It's everything involved in a first-time home purchase. People are so nervous the first time that you buy
the
a
home inspection.
Yeah, the home inspection.
Because people get caught up, especially first-time home buyers. You're out with these buyers, and you've seen it. You're out, and all of this, you hear the gasps in the back seat or next to you. That's it, and their mind's made up. That house could be overpriced. It may have issues, so you kind of got to bring them back down to earth.
And a common theme is they can qualify for much more than they think they can qualify for.
And they settle for less,
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's a very common theme.
I've heard a lot of things where, people are like, I never thought I could buy a house that looked like that. I mean, because they have, their self-perception also, plays into that. And they've had an area in mind because they thought that's where they could buy. But then when they found out, it's like, no, we can go over here. And it's like, oh, that's better schools and a better area and closer to shopping and restaurants and the whole thing. I never thought I could be over there.
Right. And that's another thing they have to think about. Where do I want to live and why do I want to live there? And they don't think about that until you start asking them questions.
So one of the things that we run across, you wrote another, and we get so many books, so we're going to talk about all of them, but there's another one here that I want to talk about because we run across this a lot. And I actually have closed a couple transactions recently where this came into play, and it's called Selling Your Home in a Divorce. I mean, it's kind of like death and taxes. I mean, divorce is out there. It's not, always going to happen, but happens enough.
It happens 50% of the time.
And it needs to be fair on both sides. It shouldn't be a battle.
So, selling your house a divorce. What did you put in the book to give people advice?
Well, we talked about the emotional aspects, how you have to take that out of the equation and really look at things as a business. This is a business decision. How do we both come to the table, agree on what's going to happen, and move forward in a way that's going to work for both of you?
because a lot of times, and this is what's happened to me on these last 2 transactions I had, in the divorce decree that, and one of them was 7 years old, it stated in the divorce decree that in I think in both cases it was the wife in both cases who was granted the home. And it even stated in the divorce decree, and we can use this from time to time, but what it said in there, and these people were just flat out, and actually I have a third one I'm working on because I have a phone call out to the ex-husband. It said in there that the wife was to get the property, and in the divorce decree it stated the address, the legal description. And a lot of times, if you can't get a hold of the ex-spouse, which I've seen, you sometimes can use that divorce decree, because even sometimes the language is in there that this can be used to transfer and convey ownership. Mm-hmm. The only problem is that right next to that statement, it says all parties shall execute the documents to go ahead and convey the property. And it's like, okay, you have conflicting information there.
Right.
So here's a situation where you may run across somebody that, well, I was granted the home in the divorce. It says right in there. But if you look at the language, you have conflicting information. So when you have conflicting information, I'm on the phone trying to get a hold of the ex-spouse, okay, because it says right after that everybody has to execute the documentation. Matter of fact, on one of the deals that we just did, the ex-husband actually was getting a percentage of the sale proceeds, and the wife had forgotten about that.
Whoops.
25%.
Yeah.
Granted, it wasn't a ton of money, but at the same time, the agent, I said, I told the agent, I said, did you see this portion here where the husband gets 25%? No, we didn't see that. And sure enough, it was there. So we had to, this was, again, 6-7 years ago, this divorce happened. And she didn't like it very much, but you know what? That was the legal. So, it's a tough area to navigate when you're dealing with that. You talk about the emotional side of it. I mean, this brought up some ill feelings from 7 years ago.
We've had a situation where the spouse would not sign off on an offer. And eventually that house went into foreclosure because the spouse would not cooperate. He would have had to take it to court to get anything remedied there. So it can be a really sticky situation.
I mean, let's face it, you're trying to do a business transaction with somebody that you don't like.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
So you're not divorcing them because you like them.
Yeah.
See, you guys in the real estate industry should be used to that, right?
Yeah.
Got that agent on the other side going, I've had to deal with that guy before. No, I'm joking about that. But, exactly. So you have what should be a great situation turned into a very confrontational situation.
It's stress on top of stress.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I want to bring something up. We've been talking about the books, and yes, John and Lynn have authored some books, but they are real estate agents. They're a husband and wife team. They work with West USA Realty, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Cabezas Group in West USA. Tell our listeners a little bit about and how is it being, speaking of divorces, sorry for bringing that up, how is it being a husband and wife real estate team?
I'll let Lynn answer that first.
Okay.
Well, we actually get along better now that we work together than we did before we started working together.
That's good.
But it's great working with each other. It gives us the advantage where if a client can't reach me, they can reach John, vice versa. Open houses are always wonderful because they're a team.
Sure.
It's wonderful, I think, working as a team. It gives us a lot of advantages than what a single agent experiences.
And you guys did have, before, because we are going to run out of time if we don't hurry up here, but I wanted to ask you guys, you have a couple listings, don't you, that you wanted to talk about?
Well, we have a coming soon. We
coming
have one
soon listing.
In the magic zip code, 85254. It's 15634 North 54th Place in Scottsdale. It's almost 1,900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
It's located right by Desert Horizon Park, where there's also a police station located. Safe place. Kind of unique features: concrete stained floors, concrete countertops. Beautiful home. She did the xeriscape in the front is beautiful.
This is a coming soon. Coming soon.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And then you have one active listing. Is that correct or no?
We have another listing in Queen Creek. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's at 19370 East Strawberry Drive in Queen Creek. Almost a brand new house, gorgeous, 2,600 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath.
Perfect.
If somebody wants to see these homes, how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach us. They can reach me at 480-399-7051, or they can reach Lynn at 602-300-0797, or you can come visit us at www.cabezas.com.
Well, that's Lynn Janson.
CabezasGroup.com.
Cabezas Group. Yep.
That's Lynn Janson and John Cabezas with West USA Realty. Hey, in my opinion, you guys are taking real estate and elevating it to another level. So thank you so much for being on the show. Our other guest today was Tim Regan. He is with First Rate Home Mortgage. Tim, thank you again for being on the show. And Josh, another great show.
Thanks, Bill.
We will talk to you guys next week.